On May 13, 1917, in a pasture near Fatima, Portugal, a radiant woman appeared before three children who were tending sheep, accompanied by a flash of lightning. "Do not be afraid. I came from the skies. Come to see me at the same time on the 13th of each month for the next 6 months, and I will reveal who I am and what I desire." The woman was enveloped in a light so bright it was hard to look at her directly, with only her slender, delicate hands being visible. The children believed this mysterious visitor was the Virgin Mary. They agreed to keep their encounter a secret, but rumors that they had seen the Virgin Mary quickly spread through the village by evening. This intriguing story was soon featured in the local newspapers. Before long, thousands of pilgrims began flocking to the once quiet town of Fatima. The local government tried to contain the movement, suspecting the children's accounts might be a political stunt linked to the recently established First Portuguese Republic of 1910. However, they failed to detain the children due to the backlash from the swelling crowds of pilgrims. On June 13th, the children met the mysterious woman again, and this time she entrusted Lutia with a mission: strive to make my existence known and establish my immaculate heart in the world. Over the following months, reports of visions and miracles continued, and Fatima attracted even more people. During their fifth encounter on September 13th, the woman promised Lucia another miracle, proclaiming that in October she would perform a miracle so all could believe. On October 13th, despite the dark clouds and heavy rain that filled the skies, up to 100,000 people gathered in the muddy field of Cova da Iria, braving the ankle-deep water. Despite the gloomy weather, an estimated crowd of up to 100,000 people gathered in the field of Cova da Iria, expecting the appearance of the mysterious lady. The field was muddy from the rainwater, but the crowd, soaked to the skin, waited for the promised miracle. Around 1 p.m., the rain suddenly stopped, the clouds parted, and the sun shone through. At that moment, the sun began spinning dazzlingly, drying the wet clothing and mud in an instant. Clothes that had been dripping wet dried instantly, and the muddy ground hardened quickly. As the crowd looked up, they saw the sun start to spin rapidly in the sky. Witnesses reported that it wasn't just a ball of fire, but reflected the landscape, people, and clouds like a mirror, emitting various colors. The sphere zigzagged across the sky over the thousands of people. The mysterious movement of the sun lasted for about 10 minutes. Tens of thousands of people were mesmerized, watching in awe. This event is known as the Miracle of the Sun, the most widely witnessed official miracle to date. Of the 3 children who experienced these visions, 2 died in the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic. Lucia, the sole survivor, became a nun and was beatified after her death. Interestingly, despite being a Vatican-approved religious event, some scholars classified this as a direct encounter with extraterrestrial beings. They argue that the woman who appeared to the children was an alien rather than the Virgin Mary, and that the Miracle of the Sun was also their spacecraft. These scholars point out that the woman was surrounded by bright light, had long, slender fingers, and her appearance resembled that of someone wearing a spacesuit. They suggest that the children saw an alien but projected the image of the Virgin Mary, whom they were familiar with. The way they communicated also resembled telepathic communication often reported in alien encounters. The children testified that they never saw the woman's mouth move during their conversations and felt a buzzing in their skulls while hearing her voice. Additionally, the woman never directly mentioned the word heaven to the children. She simply pointed to the sky, indicating where she came from. The scholars argue that the religious messages and prophecies were communicated through children to convey them in the purest form possible, using religion as a powerful medium. The extraordinary events witnessed by many during the Miracle of the Sun also support their claims. Descriptions of condensed beams of light, disc-shaped rotations, and flight angles impossible with modern technology match UFO sightings remarkably well.
The spacecraft rapidly changed colors, from crimson to yellow to purple, and moved swiftly. The intense heat it emitted was felt as it descended toward the ground.
When the glowing sun swirled among the broken clouds, it was as colorful as light shining through stained glass windows in a cathedral. The experience was so vivid that seconds felt like hours.
At the sound of people's cries, I looked up to see the sun spinning. It approached the ground as if it would crush us with its immense weight. It might have been different for others, but for me, it was a terrifying moment.
The clouds parted, revealing the sun in all its splendor. It spun majestically and flew around. This sublime spectacle lasted for 10 minutes, and we knelt in awe of this divine sign.
I simply cannot explain what I saw. The glowing sun did not hurt my eyes, no matter how long I looked at it. It spun on its own, and I fled in fear, hiding among people who were crying, thinking the end of the world was coming.
I happened to be on my porch that day and saw it from a distance. An incredible sight unfolded in the sky, like nothing I had ever seen before. I was completely captivated and watched spellbound until the show was over.
Witness accounts share several common elements, such as colorful flashes, spinning, and distinctive movements. However, skeptics argue that these witness accounts lack any verifiable evidence. When such events suggest deep involvement of extraterrestrial beings in human history, decisive evidence is always lacking. Experts in paranormal phenomena suggest that when these beings decide to reveal themselves to many, we cannot think as usual, arguing that this too is a deliberate phenomenon caused by higher dimensional entities. Was the miracle in the rural village of Portugal truly a divine act, or was it a visitation by extraterrestrial visitors bringing an important message to humanity?